The past 12 months of my life has been the most amazing experience. I've been really coming into experiencing the true joys in my life. And what I've found is there's really 4 areas that I'm just naturally drawn to and extremely passionate about. And those are stones, plants, pets, animals, and children. And
because they're all, for the most part, free of resistance.
Yeah. That they are. And so my question is, with the plants, animals, and children, it's been a very expansive and natural process for the two-way communication going on. I feel like,
for example,
I feel the needs or the requests or the wants from the plants I have and my pets and the kids that I come around, and there's almost a sense of unspoken communication going on. So what I'm curious about is with the stones, they're kind of, in some perspective, the oddball out of that group. But I want to know, how to change my perspective a little bit so that I can more naturally have that kind of exchange of energy.
Well, no matter what your object of attention is, whether it's a stone or a plant or a pet or children, isn't your interest in your perspective and your interest in your relationship with them, isn't it about your relationship with them? In other words, any of those things existing on their own is not a personal experience to you. But as they become part of your point of attention, then you're having a relationship with them. So it's what you want that is the most important factor in all of that. Yes?
Yes.
What do you care about your relationship with a stone?
I guess I'm more appreciative.
What do you care about your relationship with a child?
I care about just being able to interact with them.
In what way does that matter to you?
It helps me remember where I may be misevaluating something, or it seems that there's always a perspective there that.
But what is your dominant intention when you're interacting with a child? What's the strongest desire? What do you think the strongest trajectory is? What do you think the source within you is most eager about? What is it that you are wanting to come into alignment with within yourself about that relationship with that child? What do you think you're reaching for?
I want to laugh as freely as they do.
Co-creation at its best. So does it feel to you that you're wanting to get something from them or give something to them?
Both.
Because it's mutual, isn't it? So you're wanting to uplift them to feeling wonderful, and you're wanting to be uplifted to feeling wonderful. You are utilizing them as your object of attention with the intention of finding vibrational alignment with the source within you. And with children, it's a rather easy thing to do, even though it's the most difficult of these 4 subjects that you presented to us here. But you can accomplish that with children. You know what you want. And now, what about the pet? What is your desire in interacting with the animal?
To express as much love to them as So
you're wanting to be in a vibrational place where you are uplifting them. Are you wanting to get any upliftment back?
Yes.
So again, it's a mutual thing. So your anticipation is, because they are easy objects of attention, there is a very strong likelihood that just your attention to this beast is going to be uplifting in nature to you, and therefore uplifting in nature to that beast as well. Yes?
Yes.
So what about the plant? What is your desire for your relationship with the plant?
Well, that's kind of an interesting one, because the plants, it never even crossed my mind until May, and a bug got bit by a bug or something, and I wanted some plants on my porch, and it's just gone crazy, and I've been able to...
So what do you think your first awareness that you were having in a relationship with the plant was? Having it up close to you, and your awareness of it, what did that produce within you?
A realization of that all life is connected.
And did you find yourself in your attention to it feeling appreciation? And in that appreciation, therefore, you were in alignment. Mm-hmm. And in alignment, now you're having a relationship. What we're getting at here, it's like our conversation earlier. It's all about your perception, because you are interacting with everything in the universe. It's just your focus upon it. So you have done a good job in bringing us forward all the way in this conversation that we're having today to talk about things that you are observing that you have found are easy subjects to take you easily into high-flying places. And we want you to understand that from our point of view, that would be why we would select everything. We said earlier that when you're wanting to get on this high-flying disc, to choose the things that are the easiest. And so appreciation of minerals or appreciation of the planet itself, appreciation of those things, it's less likely for you to find resistant thoughts with that than with almost anything that you are thinking about, because you have less trauma, you have less bad memories about things like that. So as you start with the general things and then work your way up, so of these subjects, which is the most general of the four, do you think?
I think I just got something from you, that, you know, with the animals and with the children, what you said makes a lot of sense, in the reciprocal nature of it, and that's what I became fascinated by, was because I started experiencing the reciprocalness of it with plants and with stones. I've always received ever since I was a child. Like, I just am attracted to them and love them, and I was thinking that, how do I give it back? But it sounds like just my feeling it is what...
It's hard for humans to hear us when we say that you are all selfishly oriented, and that if you are looking for the good feeling in something, then in looking for the good feeling, you're finding resonance with your source. And when you find resonance with your source, then anything you hold as your object of attention benefits from it, you see. And so we had a conversation about that earlier, about the reciprocal nature of things. When you are looking for what you're getting back rather than for what you're giving, then it's easier for you to get off the track.
I'm getting back everything, so do I need to just not... Is that what's giving? And I don't need to look for... It's like I want to nurture
There
them.
are two things that we want to say to you about this. First, all day here today, we've been talking about the benefit of not needing to observe something in order to feel a certain way. And this is an exercise where you have discovered different objects of attention that produce different levels of alignment within you. In all four of these cases, the levels of alignment were all pretty much the same. In other words, there was no resistance in any of them. Mm-hmm. But if you were to move out into more specifics, in other words, we think this is a very interesting thing that's happening next door, your patience with this group is beginning to wear down just a little bit. In other words, it started out all right. We were sort of holding our own, but the rowdier they get, the more intrusive they are beginning to feel, and the more difficult it is to concentrate, and you're really at the point where you really wish that they would just be a quiet stone sitting there somewhere. Or maybe even a nice plant sitting there and just emitting what they emit. Or maybe even a well-behaved pet. Or even well-behaved children, but a raucous group that has no seeming consideration for anything that's going on around it, you see. And so we're wanting you to not be so committed to the observational nature of your being, because we don't want you to need to control the way you are feeling or the vibration that you're offering based upon what you're observing. We want you to understand that it is your quest for alignment that then is bringing things to you. It's not that those subjects are taking you to alignment, it's that your alignment takes you to those subjects. That's really the power of this conversation that we're having. And once you practice it with subjects where it's easy, but understand that it's not the subjects that make you feel this way, it's feeling this way that brings you the subjects.
So I'm just going to keep getting more subjects.
Now, more subjects, more broader, more satisfying, more detailed, more interesting, more momentum subjects make their way into your experience. It's sort of like, in the same way that you learn to walk by finding your balance, you're learning vibration by finding your balance. And you presented it to us in such an elementary way that it made the next discussion easy to come. Did you follow it? We don't want you to just play with rocks, and we really don't want you to just play with trees, and we really don't want you to just play with dogs, and we really don't want you to only play with children. We want you to be out in the world, sure of who you are, in a vibrational frequency that is so well established that everything that comes to you comes with the same amount of steadiness as these four subjects that you've proven to yourself are really equal, even though they are very varied in their levels of consciousness. Did you follow that? So much variety in their levels of consciousness, but you are the common denominator. That's really what this conversation is about. Because you see, until you understand that you are the creator of your own reality, you are, most of you, running around trying to find pockets that you blend with, only to discover that there's no pocket that you really completely blend with. And even when you find a pocket that feels like you're blending pretty good, it gets pretty boring pretty fast. Then you want to go to Las Vegas, and then you want to go to the Appalachian Mountains. In other words, you find you're always looking for someplace else. But once you find that you have the ability to stabilize yourself vibrationally, then you're free to be anywhere. And then instead of going into deeper and deeper, more solitude corners in order to keep your energy balanced, you are now free to go everywhere and keep your energy balanced. And that's what you said when you came. Yes. You said, it's a big world, and it's a diverse world, and there's so much variety, and there's so much benefit. There are so many people to play with, and there are so many subjects to play with, and I'm just going to mix it up, and I'm going to just establish a really good foundation of who I am and what I want. And then I'm going to pay attention to the way I feel, and I'm going to come into alignment until I've shown myself the consequence, the result, the surefire result of focus and manifestation. I'm going to get so steady in that, and then there is no limit to the satisfaction that I can bring to myself. I can be as detailed on any subject that I choose, because the laws of the universe are the same no matter what they are applied to. And so it's just my interest, my unlimited capacity to feel good. You are unlimited in your capacity to know, or in your capacity to feel good. There is no ending to what this time-space reality will yield to you. I think it is a wonderful thing to be in a physical body at this time. In this contrast, we prefer the word variety, but contrast says it too, where you're constantly, all day, every day, inspired to greater desires. And to be standing in the place that you are standing, where you are knowing that as each desire is born within you, that your ability to feel and live the fulfillment of it is there too. There is nothing that you can ever want that you do not have the capacity to experience in its fullness. So there is no risk in desire. And sometimes we notice that you feel risk in reaching out there because you've been reaching out there without having first gained control of your focus. And so the reaching out there gave you a rougher ride than you wanted, and so it caused you to withdraw, which caused you to disallow, which caused you to mistrust, which caused you to misunderstand, which caused you to judge that and you, which caused a diminishment of your experience that you won't get over until you croak. But now You don't have to wait for that refreshing resetting of the button. You're able to do it one thought at a time, one feeling response at a time, one emotional guidance at a time, you see.